Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Intellectual stew.
informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew with James.
Y'all come on in. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. As you come in, please, ma'am, please, sir, share this thread. And let's get ready to get this conversation started. As I always say, what's up, what it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirkland. And I have a few people with me tonight that are going to be on the panel. And we're going to get this conversation started. So, kind of waiting on y'all to come on in. Share this stream and let somebody know that we are on. Let me find my music so I can turn it down. I promise I get so caught up in this music a lot of times I can keep riding. Oh, let me cut it off. There it is. All right, so let me see who I got in the back room with me. I got Mark. What's up, Mark? You good? All right, cool. You watched Russell Wilson finally threw a touchdown pass, so I guess Denver might be ready to turn it around now, I suppose.
Nah. I need a lot more than that.
They're gonna need a lot more than that.
Yeah, man.
He finally threw a touchdown pass. That struck. I thought he was supposed to be the missing link or whatever it was, but I don't see it yet.
They said he got a injury to his lateral muscles, a tear in his lat. So, the injuries are up, right?
You got a little feedback on your part, Mark. I don't know.
I got feedback?
A little bit. All
right, let's.
Don't look like we're gonna get to see Miss Ashley's face. Let me see so let me see if we got Ashley. Ashley, you there tonight?
I'm here, young man.
All right. So I have to guess what you look like again tonight.
You know exactly what this beautiful face looks like.
You know what I like to do? I like to read body language, so we're gonna be talking over each other and all that kind of stuff. But y'all, we're gonna get it all together one of these days, though.
Give me a few seconds. I may be able to help you. I just ran in my house.
All right, yeah. Let me get Coy in here. What's going on, Coy? Coy. Hold on, do that again. Wave again.
Hey y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Camera move. Yeah, we can hear you. Your camera moving. Your camera's moving slow because when you put your hand up, it's like whoa. It's like you're doing the wave with your hand because I don't know if your camera's slow or what it is, but it's all good. We can see you and we can hear you, so that's what I see you. So we are good tonight. All right, so listen.
It's blinking in and out on me right now.
Yeah, I think you're delayed. Go out and come back in. I'm about to text you and let you know what I see. Yeah, go out and come back in.
Still got feedback?
No, you actually sound very good now. Very good. All right, Mark, did you see my Facebook? Yeah, you saw my Facebook post today.
About the celibate woman?
Yeah, about the celibate woman. yeah. She means I'm like I told, I'm gonna let her come in and tell her own story in a few minutes. She's gonna come in and we're gonna talk about it Cause I ain't gonna lie, I learned something today. I didn't realize that there was a difference between abstinence and celibacy. Did you?
Enlighten me. One of them have oral sex, another one was no penetration.
No, it's a little bit more than that. Hold on, let me get Corey in here. Corey, you there? Hold on, yeah, there you are. I think your camera's moving kind of slow. Are you there, Corey?
I'm here.
All right. Yeah, we're getting ready to start. Ashley, did you hear what I just said? Okay,
I did.
Did you know it was a difference between abstinence and celibacy?
I did not.
Did you, Corey?
Absolutely not.
I think Corey. Huh?
That's a no absolutely not. No.
Yes. Yeah, there is there's a difference. And people in the audience that are in the chat room, did y'all know that there's a difference between abstinence and celibacy? Did y'all know that there's a difference? I'm going to pull up the definition of abstinence. And I mean, like I said, somebody shared it with me on my page. You know, y'all know what's funny. Before there was because we're of age, I think all of us are of age.
I'm still a young whippersnapper.
I'm talking all of us can remember that there a time with no Google. You can remember a time with no Google, right?
Yeah.
You can't remember a time with no Google?
No.
Before Google, we used to have what these things called encyclopedias, dictionaries.
Yeah, we use them.
You know, yeah, man. But I mean, that was the only go-to then. Google, you could just put whatever you want in there now, and you come back. So somebody told me today, definition of abstinence is to refrain from sex until marriage. Celibacy is a vow of no sex. That means I'm not going to have sex, and it can be a lifelong thing. And that,
is that
Mark,
what
like
you Googled?
No. Somebody gave me the definition of that one. That was somebody gave me Merriam's.
I disagree.
But I mean, you disagree with.
I'm gonna say I disagree Google's because you can practice abstinence after having sex before. It's not because if you look up celibacy, it says to not have sex before not to have sex before marriage. So you can abstain from having sex after you've had sex before. I don't want to have sex anymore, so I'm going to abstain from it.
I don't think that was the argument.
I didn't say that, but I'm just saying.
Man, I'm saying you said to disagree kind of denotes that I'm in contention. I argue.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying
no. I'm saying I don't. No, I'm just saying I don't think that's a different from what you're saying. I'm saying you can have sex with somebody and then practice abstinence, then go a long time. I mean, I'm saying I think you can still be abstain from sex after having sex is the point I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, because what I was saying is based upon what the person said as far as a difference. I don't think that there's, based upon those definitions, I still don't feel like it's a difference. If you said that they said abstaining from sex is before marriage, that's not true.
Well, the person with celibacy never intends to get married. They might go. That's like a nun that might not ever get married. So that's the difference. Yeah, that's because you've heard the statement a vow of celibacy. I've taken a vow. You ain't never heard nobody say I take a vow of abstinence. Abstinence means I am, and this is what I've learned today. I'm abstaining until I'm able, until I'm married and I'm going to be with just this one partner. That's the way I understood it. And now prior to this, I did look at celibacy and abstinence as the same thing. I did until today, because even with the young lady that I wrote about today, because like I said, she's 52 years old, and I've been knowing her for 5 years, at least 4 or 5 years, and she's always talked about being celibate. But I think when she comes on in a minute, I'll be able to ask her, does she ever plan on is marriage one of the things she would be interested in, or so maybe she's not celibate, maybe she's just practicing abstinence. Yeah, man, if I'm wrong, like I said, y'all, we might disagree. We might just all be learning together tonight. What you think, Mark? I know you don't want to know nobody that's practicing abstinence nor celibacy.
I know people practice it after they catch STD.
Oh God.
Everybody stretch your hands towards Mark.
What? I'm just saying that's what I know people do it when they catch STD. They're like, yo, I'm just saying.
Well, I won't jump the gun. I will let us get into the lesson a
Ain't no
little bit.
lesson.
But
This is the organic conversation.
what I have looked up, based upon my research, neither one of them mean that you're not gonna ever have sex or you have never had sex. Um, they're both, to me, they're basically, based upon the definitions, they both have a specific time frame with them. One is just like you just said, one is wording for me. One is one, it says, basically says abstinence usually refers to the decision not to have penetrative sex. And that's why when we were on the status today, I asked you, it depends on what one would say abstinence is, or celibacy.
We was on celibacy on that one.
Sorry, yeah. Celibacy is. And then it says it's typically limited to a specific period of time, such as until marriage. Celibacy is a vow to remain abstinence over an extended period of time. For some, this may mean their entire life, but to me, they saying the same dang on thing.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's wordplay.
But
one is until marriage. One is just like, yo, there's no end in order. Like, there's no end to it. It's not marriage or anything. It's just until they decide.
They decide they want to have sex.
And from what I'm looking at, Ashley, because I'm looking at another, it said it means abstinence means avoiding all types of intimate. You might have just said that all types of intimate genital contact. Someone practicing complete abstinence does not have any type of intimate sexual contact, including oral sex. So there's no risk of getting an STD. But somebody who is practicing celibacy can still have solo sex.
So they can masturbate. They can masturbate.
They can still masturbate. They can have oral sex. You know, they can do those. There's just no penetration.
I think they're right there. They just playing games with themselves, child. Because eventually you're gonna want to slide down Peter's pecker, okay?
Peter's who?
Pecker.
Toy. Is it eventually? Is somebody gonna want to slide down Peter's pecker? Whatever she just said. I'm asking you need to come on camera, because you can hide behind that dog on camera and say all these bad words and all that kind of stuff. Don't nobody see your face. None of that stuff. And that's some bull.
Show us who you really are. Show us who you really are.
Yeah,
man. Exactly.
Let me see your eyes when you say this stuff.
Talking about Peter's pecker, talking about giving orals. I mean, all this stuff a couple weeks ago. I mean, all kind of different little things, man.
Listen, now y'all been knowing me long enough to know that I don't have no problem with openly talking about sex. But I will keep it cute when I'm talking about it. Call you cute, girl. Peter's pecker. She gonna want to, or if he gonna get in, Virginia's vagina.
We gotta get some people on this doggone thread. Ain't nobody on here. We ain't got but one person listening. What is going on with us tonight?
Tag the people. Are you public?
I am, but you know what? I make sure I'm public, because I don't like, for instance, I don't know. It look like my internet is kind of getting a little shaky a little bit. But I just ran what's going on here? I just ran a speed test before the show, and they said I was good. So,
well, yeah, say you public on both sides.
I am. You know what? I'm about to refresh this, so if the screen blinks, don't pay me no attention. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on, don't go nowhere, y'all.
I was having connection issues also.
Yeah. I'm just making sure it's not contagious. Are we here? Who are everybody? Talk. Say something, Coy.
I'm here.
Say something. All right, good. All right, so listen. I asked the question. Who is that singing that can't sing? That's you, Ashley?
Sexy lady. You said it's contagious.
Let me mute Ashley right quick. I thought everybody in Arkansas could sing. I'm joking, Ashley. I'm not picking on you tonight.
I'm not.
All right, so listen. I asked. How do I say asked wrong? I asked.
Oh, Ashley.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. You can go on back off camera. Ass. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
that's all right. That's all right.
We
That's all
good.
right. Oh, there she go again.
Wait a minute, come back, Ashley.
No,
I know y'all did not do
no,
that.
don't, no.
Really?
I ain't know you.
Ashley
I
is
ain't know you and all your
beautiful. What
I
is
ain't know.
wrong with y'all?
I didn't know you and
They
all your
hate,
partners
that's
was coming.
okay.
I didn't know you and all
They
your partners
hate
was coming.
her. That's a
No.
natural beauty. What is wrong with y'all?
I didn't know. I
Yes,
didn't know.
no.
I
I
didn't know
cannot
you
believe
and
y'all
all your
just did
partners.
that.
No,
I'm
we ain't
not
doing
with
that.
them, girl.
I'm playing. Come on back. I'm
No.
just joking with you. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
come on,
Come
man.
on back. I'm
No,
joking.
come
I
on.
wasn't planning on being on
No,
Facebook. I mean,
no,
on
Ash,
Instagram, no way.
No, come on back. For real. I'm joking.
Come
Go.
through,
I'm
Ashley.
you,
Come
you,
through.
you, you like
Come on,
Tasha,
come
you
on,
like
Ashley.
Tasha and Ghost.
Our guest
I
is
wasn't planning on
here.
being on.
No, I want to see you for real. Come on.
They just,
Our guest is here. So come on, let's go.
hey, James, remember when Tasha got arrested on Ghost?
Who?
When Tasha got arrested on Ghost?
What?
Girl, he said I look like I took
that was
my
a
wig
memorable
off. I
scene.
don't wear wig.
That was a memorable scene.
Nah, this is all
Alright.
good. I love it.
Hey, listen. But here we go for real. So here I'm about to set this up. I got Angie. Angie's about to come on. Angie, she and I had a conversation. She works at a store I go to pretty much every day, and so we become kind of friends. We become cool over the day, you know. So we talk pretty much consistently every day. And she's always talked about celibacy, abstinence, yada yada yada, all that kind of stuff. You know, we're using the words interchangeably, whatever. So the other day we brought up this whole abstinence piece again, and she told me she had been abstinent. I'd known she had been abstaining, but I didn't know it was for 31 freaking years. I mean, I know people go to prison longer. I mean, they ain't went to prison.
How old is she?
I'm getting in all that. Let me finish my whole setup. I'm coming to it. But anyway, so 31 years. She's 52. I mean, is that right? Hold on, let me bring her in here because I might be saying that wrong.
She coming in? Okay, I can't
Hold
wait.
on.
Let me get off camera.
Mark, stop. Okay.
Mark, we want to see your face.
Angie.
Hello.
Welcome. It's not 31, it's 21 years. So I don't know
thought
what
it was 21.
Oh, that's still a long time. But
Hey, Angie.
Hello, how are you?
21, 31 is the same.
I had it mixed up because you told me you were 31 when you started. That's
31 when I stopped. Yeah.
And so you've been on for 21. You've been celibate. Now we're talking about celibacy. Do you plan on ever getting married again? Is marriage a possibility?
No. And I've never been married, but I don't think so. I really don't.
So you don't plan on ever having sex again in your life?
Oh no, I didn't say that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
So it's not celibate, so you're abstaining. So no. The question you asked me was, does she have sexual contact? And I told you no. I said
that's not what
what did you see there? What did you see there about then?
I'm just saying when we were reading those definitions.
All right.
So
that's why we bringing her on to clarify. So we bringing her on to clarify tonight. So you do plan on at some point. So you just saving it for, you can finish the sentence.
First and foremost, as far as celibacy is concerned for me, it was about learning my value and understanding what I brought to the table. In the very beginning, it was just about having sex. I can't use my explicit words because James told me to watch my mouth tonight.
I told you to be yourself.
Come on with it.
We want to hear you because we gonna
Ashley and Coy will match energy. Trust me.
Yeah, in the very beginning, it was just technically fucking. You know, it wasn't an intimacy, and I did not understand my value in it. I just understood what I thought my role in it was supposed to be, which was to make sure that the man is satisfied, happy, and that he doesn't cheat and go anywhere. But in the process of doing that, I did not gain anything for me. And so I got to a point where I felt like I wanted more than just a simple sexual encounter with somebody. And so celibacy started then. I did not expect to go 21 years. Let me just make sure that is absolutely clear because I enjoyed myself when I was in the game. But I learned more about myself as I continued my celibacy. And so do I want to be intimate again as far as a man is concerned? Absolutely. But I want intimacy. I don't want just fucking. I did that already.
I like that. And that was the question, because when we had that conversation, my thought process was like, if I'm dating somebody, right, and she decides she wants to be celibate, all this kind of stuff, and I respect that, or she's trying to be abstinent until marriage, or she wants to get she got a 6-month rule, 3-month rule, whatever she tells me, and I'm cool with that, right? Then, but if we sitting at the crib, and unmute yourself, Ashley, you get in this part of the conversation as well. If we sitting at the crib and we Netflixing and chilling, right? Right. And you rubbing my leg, and I done put my arms around your shoulders, and you done put your head on my chest, and you know what I'm saying? And we might share a couple of kisses, and we might drink a glass of wine, and we start feeling a little frisky, right? And we're becoming one. The candle is lit and we're intimate. But there's this, so how do you have those types of moments, or do you not tempt yourself like that?
I'm not even going to say not tempt myself. I think ever since the 17-year mark, temptation has been coming through the floodgates. It's some fine men out there, and Lord knows, good gracious Akibas, he got a nice set of arms and look like he can hold that thing up. We might be
burning up.
Come on, girl.
But I think
it's a nice set of arms. Hold on. Let's clear that up. You said, hold on. Look, I'm very exegetical in my conversation. Let's clear this thing up. You said, Coy, what did she say? She said,
she's
if
burning
he got
up,
a nice set of arms and he can hold that thing up.
Come
what
on
is
now.
That thing?
Come on.
You know what that thing is.
That thing.
You got a thing. Let me see your
I'm not holding my thing up. She's talking about hold my thing
Let
up.
me see
Hold
your
up.
No.
She's talking about holding that thing up.
I need to
you
be
can hold that
She want him to lift that thing.
There you
She
go.
want him to lift it.
Yes.
And drop it on the
everybody
table.
Everybody in chat, please pray for Coy and Ashley.
It's all about the exercise. It's all about what your stamina is. So yeah.
Mark, I'm gonna say I took a
So,
shower before the show, and I know I'm gonna take another shower
Angie,
after the show. Jesus.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want somebody to hold up? At our age, they're not really doing that no more. I think you missed out on that part.
I think here's where I'm at my crossroad, because when I first, again, around the 17-year mark, hot, everything that walked by you feel pulsations and feeling like, I need to get
that
on
heartbeat.
Yes.
My God.
But then they open up their mouth. And the moment they open up their mouth and started to talk, dried up. Everything was gone, no more. So I'm a person that I have discovered that as the celibacy took place longer and longer, that your conversation is as much of an intimacy for me as physical intimacy. And so I want a man that can stimulate me mentally as well as being able to physically put this thing up in the air. Because after 21 years, I don't want the routine. I'm ready for a little bit of bondage, not a lot.
Come on, Angela.
Can we clarify that? Can we clarify what that bondage thing is?
Wait a minute.
I'm talking to Andrew. I'm talking to Andrew right now. Give me a hot
you talking to the group.
No, I said Andrew that time. Andrew, can you explain what that bondage thing is, please?
So as far as me personally, it, of course, we'll have to start off with soft bondage because there's a trust element. And if you don't take my safe word for what it is, you get a different person.
Okay,
and we are no longer.
You ain't got to go no further. You ain't got to go no further. I understand.
There we go.
So are you current? What you giving up?
Let me say this, because James made a statement while he was giving his overview of what he would be doing if a person comes over. And I think when we were talking about levels of intimacy, when I took my mind to intimacy, it had very little to do with our encounter that we were having right then. Just like Angela said, and I said this to y'all a couple of weeks ago, I think, or I always say, I need you to mind F me before we even get to anything else. What? And mind F me does not have anything to do with you talking sexual to me. Because I think I told y'all I was turned on by intelligence. And so just like she said that it dries up when he opens his mouth, like this is why, and I said this too, and I know Coy has talked about this, how she married an ugly man, but that man may have been the most intelligent thing on God's green earth to her, and it made her thing drip. It has very little to do with
Physical.
all of the looks. It's some of the looks, but if a man smells good,
Ooh,
smells good
girl,
and is intelligent, and then he
girl.
mind effing me before we even make it to hell, maybe before we even make it to dinner, in
With
a
a T.
movie,
Okay, my
and
dear.
then we make it to the
With a T.
bedroom. Oh my God.
Yes,
Denter with a
absolutely.
T.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
the intimacy part, as far as what James was talking about, I wouldn't even, and I'm not talking about what is classified for you, James, but for me, that would be my intimacy. That would be mediocre for me.
I got you.
And I would probably, even to the degree of what James, what you were talking about, if I, and I have gone over to someone's home before and we, chilling and having a good time and everything else. But there was no physical touch. Wait a minute, let me think back. Hold on, because there was
Yeah,
a
don't
particular,
lie. Don't lie.
yeah,
Don't
okay,
lie.
so here we go. There
Did
was
he
a
know you were celibate or?
yes, he absolutely. Anybody that I meet, I let them know right off the top I'm celibate because I don't want you to have an expectation. That's the one thing I've learned in this day and
Hmm.
age, that there is almost an immediate expectation for some form of physicality. Either
Hmm.
whether or not it's a guy who wants to kiss you immediately, or he think it's okay to tap you on your ass, or embrace you a little bit too much. But there is a sense of, I can do this amongst men now, and not every woman is open to that. So I am very particular about telling a guy who shows an interest, oh, I've been celibate for 21 years, so I'm good. In other words, don't put all your cards in my basket, because unless you meet what my expectations are, I'm not doing anything with you either.
Do
It's
Hmm.
you think
going
that's
to
a
be
turn off for
about what.
some guys?
Oh, it wouldn't matter, because most men, when they're in a having sexual relationship, I won't say intimacy, because a lot of men are not intimate; they are sexual. Most men, when they're having a sexual relationship, a
See?
whole is a whole. And so the only
Okay.
thing that you want, as far as I'm
Female.
concerned, is to be able to say, you took my 17, 20, or whatever, how many years it is that you accomplished that and you gained that. And that's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is a man to come along and feed my mental before he gives me anything on the physical. And then when he gets to the physical, blow my freaking mind for sure.
Yes,
And I'm
sir.
not saying that there are a lot of standards to that. If it turns a man off to say, I'm celibate, and so you're not going to get any sex from me right off the top, if he goes, then that saves me time, because
Mm.
I'm not going to give you. I'm not giving it to you. And so why waste my time with a whole bunch of lies? Why waste my time letting you feel on these tits, whatever it is that you want to do, and then you get to a point where you feel more comfortable with me than what I feel with you. And so it
Okay.
has to be an equal exchange as far as where our comfort levels is. And most men that I meet, the moment that I say I've been celibate for the amount of years, it's almost like an immediate erection. And then they're like, well, what you need, what you want? And I can say right off the top, you ain't it. Because you automatically assume that what I need and what I want hasn't already come through here. It's a much deeper conversation than just me spreading my legs and letting you have these 20 years. Shout, it's like a virgin over here. You can't get this. You
Mm-mm.
got to come with
So
something a
you
little bit
said
more than
you're
that.
saying that they automatically assume that what you want and what you need hadn't come through there. It hasn't, right? Because you said yourself that you decided to value yourself in a way that you're not going to give anybody anything unless they meet your standard, right?
Right. I'm saying it on that level. But when it comes down to, have I met guys that I would have had sex with? Absolutely. I mean, on a regular basis, I can see something that I would hit until he opens up his mouth. And then I decide that ain't it.
He
Not
wrong with it.
yet.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
hit
but no,
it.
she ain't raw yet. She's trying to be respectful.
I'm
Believe me.
trying to be
She's
real, I'm containing it. But
okay.
yeah.
Let's address something. Leighton Pearl said something. Angie, she said
Okay.
the physical part, he has to know how to give me the heartbeat, and she said
Mm.
basically when he gives me that heartbeat, I lay it down. I
Woo.
lay it
Lay
down
it
at that point.
down.
Yeah.
Lay it down,
Yeah.
then, Ivy.
Mark,
Lay it
Mark,
I
down.
heard that.
you unmuted. He said, Mark, I
No,
can't
you
participate in
you
this
you made
conversation.
a statement. I have a question for you, Angie. You made a statement. Um, uh, you said nothing. There was nothing in it for you. Are you saying like, did you not ever have you not ever experienced an orgasm? What are you saying?
I
Nothing in it for
experienced.
you.
I experienced. You remember? Have you ever seen the movie Color Purple? I love to use it as a reference.
Uh huh.
The one part in the movie where she said he get on top of me, do his business like he going to the bathroom. there was a time in my life where I felt like I was just a tool, no different from a toilet, you know. A man was getting the shakes and all the other kind of stuff. And the only thing that meant to me was, good job, girl. You did that.
Wow.
But it wasn't as if I was feeling anything within my own body to say, ooh, honey, he put that thing down there. No. When I was 26 years old is when I had my first orgasm. And believe me, it was just me there. And I called my mother on the phone and said I had a seizure because I had never known anything that powerful and that kismic and everything else that comes with having a real orgasm that I had. And I was like, so all this time you missing that, but you see them getting it, but I wasn't. And so did that mean that I was outperforming them, or did it mean that I had put out in their mind that a performance wasn't necessary?
Oh, wow.
Because I was doing what I had to do. And so, hell, he was good to go. And as long as he was good to go, did it matter? And that's what I had to learn. Yeah, that's what I had to learn. It matters to have that feeling. It matters for my legs to shake for more than just a reason.
That matters.
Baby, to get that warmness around your
Yeah,
head,
because you know,
of your head,
yeah,
the crown of your
I
head.
want
people
my
say-
eyes to clutch before. I want to be able to have the intimacy with a guy that when he walks in the room, I'm already clutching. My stuff is like, yes, Lord, that's my dude.
That's
Absolutely.
good. Hey, y'all, hold up one second. Listen, everybody that's in the chat, some of y'all are coming in asking what we're talking about. Let me go ahead and let y'all know. We're talking about, do you think celibacy affects intimacy? We have Angie on the show tonight, and Angie and I are friends. And she told me that she had been celibate for 21 years. 21 years celibate. It means she has no penetration, no nothing like that, or no contact from anybody else. She might do her own thing, but she's not involving anyone else in that. And she's sharing. I didn't know the conversation was going to go this way because Angie asked me to come on the show, and people ask me to come on the show all the time. And really, first we're going to talk about her son, because we could also talk about her raising a special needs son, and that would be a good conversation. Okay, because raising a special needs son would cause you to have to be careful who you expose your child to.
Absolutely.
And so if you're careful who you expose your child to, then that might also affect, you know, who's in my intimate space and all of those types of things as well. So Angie, when she asked me to talk about this, I said, well, I want to come. I said, but I don't just have frivolous conversations. If we're going to talk about celibacy, let's talk about it. And now she's telling me, and some of these sisters and brothers, I want you to hear her, you know, because sex has become so reduced now. Sex, and Mark, I ain't hating, don't get me wrong, because I mean, I ain't gonna but the thing is, so many women now, young women especially, not older ones, but younger ones, I see them leading with sex. That's like playing spades, and the first card you play, you got the big joker in your hand, and the first thing you threw is is throw down the big joker. The biggest trump you had, you played it up front. And I see so many young ladies that are playing it. You know, you got these good knees challenges now, and all this gyrating and twerking, and I mean, everybody's doing so. The world is so sexual now. But then you got somebody who's saying that she's 21 years in, and I don't think she's by herself. I had a woman earlier today on the thread said she did at least 10 years. You know, she went 10 years without doing it. And probably some other women on here now that might be sitting on their secret as well. It's your secret. Do what you want to with it. But Angie, I appreciate you for coming on and talking about it with us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Mark, come on.
James, I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Corey. I didn't mean to, what were you going to say?
You know, you made a statement saying the world is so sexual now. I think the world has been sexual. It's just that people have concealed being sexual or being comfortable being sexual. And now it's like, oh my gosh. But that's a part of who we are. We are sexual beings, you know?
Sexual beings.
Yeah, but sex can also, to an extent, be perverted and how it's promoted, in my opinion. Now, let me say this as well. Anything we say on this show, for those that are listening, are for entertainment purposes only. None of us are experts. None of us are counselors. None of us. If you hear me talking matter of fact, please hold on. Don't you a sexologist? I believe that too. If you hear me say something, I'm not saying it matter of fact. I'm just saying it from the context of my experiences. Okay. And that's all I try to do is I try to keep this ain't for fun for me. This is ministry to me. Okay. And I try to get out. So when I do these shows, I really want, it's not that Mark called me the other day, he said, we need to have a takeaway. I think everybody's takeaway is different. I used to look at schools for my kids, and at one point I wanted my kids to go to Montessori schools. And the reason I wanted them to go because they all learned at their own paces, right? More so, and don't have to stay at a strict curriculum. With our show, you learn at your own pace. If Coy says something you identify with, if Ashley says something you identify with, if Mark says something you identify with, Angie's on tonight, and Angie's dropping some jewels if y'all catch them. I promise you she's dropping some jewels. If I say something and y'all identify with it, take it. And if you say something in the chat that we identify with, I'm going to put it on the screen and we're going to talk about it, right? So with that's what we were doing. So Angie, back to the subject. Well, Mark, I'm sorry. I want you to jump in. Have you, in your 40 some odd years of living in Atlanta, have you run into women that are practicing abstinence and celibacy? And if you do, what's your response to that vow or whatever they've taken?
Yeah, I've ran into a couple women like that, and I wish them the best every time. I don't, no dating, no nothing. I'm not here. I'm not part of that journey. It just is what it is. I'm not going to stimulate your mind. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not wasting none of my efforts on that. Nope. Don't want it.
Nick,
why do you feel that way, Mark?
Let me ask a question. I'm sorry, Coy. Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to know why you feel that way. You feel like you're gonna waste your time if you entertain that, or do you feel like it's too much work? What's your reason behind that?
Because what you're valuing for me is not that valuable. What you value in your sex, like you're holding out like it's the ultimate jewel. It's like you're trying to hold.
If I feel like my cat is valuable,
that's cool, but you're holding out on the buffet table though. like I'm gonna eat anyway.
One person eat off of, not everybody.
And that's fine. But once you value who you are, once you value what you bring into my life, once you value your character and everything else, the things that matter, sex that can take an hour, it's 24 hours in a day. That 1 hour can't be what you're valuing. What about the other 8, 10 hours you're at home? That person right there, that's what you should value. That's what you should emphasize.
Not that someone that is at home, but if you are talking about real value of yourself is self-worth and understanding what that is. And if you feel devalued in a sexual situation, and I'm still trying to be politically correct, but if you feel devalued in your sexual situation with someone, because after all you're looking for is a nut. But the female is not just looking for a nut. We're looking for a little bit more than that. So to say that a woman's value in her ability to bring life into the world, it's not just a vagina. It has so much more to it than just being a hole that you can put something in. Life comes from it. And oftentimes when men and women get together and they do plant a seed and the relationship doesn't work out, the man is on about his way and the woman has a lifetime of another life to raise. And so, yeah, I think you should really think about before you enter into someone else's vessel, exactly what you're putting into that vessel and what a person is giving to you from that same vessel.
Well, then I put in that vessel. I put a condom in that vessel.
Yeah, well, okay.
Let me ask you something, Angie.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind me asking you this, when did you get started? When did you first have your first sexual encounter? At what age?
16.
Okay, so and you've been celibate for 21 years?
Mm-hmm.
And you're 51?
I'm 52. Just turned 52 in January. So I'm about to roll on 53.
So you had 14 years of banging and decided after 14 years that you're not going to give nobody nothing, or decided you wanted to recognize your value. Is there really sex? Is there?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Is there value in sex? I mean, that was my next question. Are we putting a lot of value in sex?
I
Like,
think that
I'm trying to understand that
men,
part.
and I'm not going to say that women don't either, because let me be clear as far as I'm concerned. If I'm in a relationship with someone, my physical relationship with him is just as important to me as my mental relationship with him, which means I'm going to depend on him physically to satisfy me just as much as I'm going to depend on him to mentally satisfy me. And so there has to be where, yes, the satisfaction as far as sex is concerned, I want it. I desire it. I desire for my body to be touched. I desire to feel the breath of a man on my neck. I desire to feel his hands on the back of my thighs. All of those things are still desires that I have. However, I desire for him to understand how much he means to me for me to let him put his hands on the back of my thighs and to breathe his breath on the back of my neck. Because when you are intimate with someone, there are two heartbeats that are connected together. It's not just a physical thing.
Girl, you
It is
talking good
something
now.
more than just physical. It is a spiritual
I
thing as
agree.
well. And so it's important for a woman to know the value of her spiritual being as well as her physical being, because your physical ain't gonna get you beyond the doors of heaven. Your spiritual will. And so have some value in who you are enough to say, hey, if this man cannot intellectually turn me on, stimulate me, make me want to know more, make me want to feel him, make me want to feel that intellectual brain that he has up top, down at the bottom, to see whether or not he can feed that as well. It's still a feeding for me. If I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna
Wow.
eat. But what I'm not gonna do is to snack. That ain't happening.
I,
Ah,
I fully understand you. I
Come
understand
on, Miss
everything you're saying.
Angela.
You're preaching now. You're preaching now at 51. But at the all your young years,
Did
somebody
not
need to hear
understand
about
it.
this from you.
Did not
You
understand
know,
it. Did not
right? But
understand
we
it.
need
Did not
to.
understand my value. Did not understand that I was more than just something to lay on top of. Did not understand that no matter how much I spread them, how hard I humped, or how wet it got, that it wasn't gonna keep them. Did not understand a whole bunch of things, and
wow.
absolutely did not understand the responsibility that ended up coming with parenthood when my life had to stop so that my son's life could exist. And so there's so
Wow.
much more than just saying I spread my legs and had sex. It is not a death sentence to not have sex. It is not a death sentence to deny a man what he wants until that man can show me what I want, that he has that in him too. I made the comment to James and I told him, women go out of their way. We put on the makeup, we put on the get our hair done, the nails got to be done. We smell good. We wash every crevice of whatever crevice we have. And then when you get to the guy house, he throw on a pair of shoes, pair of pants, hanging off the back of his ass, throw on a hat, and he walking, but he don't have to because we did not put the demand on him to make yourself as presentable to me as
That's
what
good.
you expect me to be presentable to you.
That's
Have
good.
an expectation from your mate other than him fucking you. Excuse my language.
No, be
But I mean,
yourself. Be
yeah, I mean,
yourself.
if it's about that, I mean, it's not as if I got a life sentence and I haven't had or seen peanuts walking around here. I can go next door if I want to and get a dick if that's what I want. I got people that come up to my job that ask every day for it. So it's not a matter of whether or not I got somebody that want it. It's a matter of whether or not they can bring to the table what I'm looking for. Because to want this is to want all that comes with it, not just that.
Hold on.
And
Stop
what
right
age
quick.
did you have
Hold
your
on. Hold on.
child?
Hold on. Hold on. Stop. Hold on. Hold on right quick. Do me. We'll continue the conversation. 1 second, please. Listen, everybody that's in the chat right now, this is grown woman talk. What we having right now is grown folks talk. This is stuff that young women need to hear and young men need to hear. Um, we do. And so I'm going to ask you a favor. Everybody, first of all, I want you to like this thread. Then I'm gonna ask you if you would to please share it. Because Angie, you're gonna hang out with us, right? For a few more minutes.
Of course.
Okay, good. So Angie's gonna stay with us. We're gonna continue this conversation. Another thing, please, ma'am, please, sir, uh support this platform by sharing stars. If you look at the bottom of the thread, you can see the stars. If you share those, I'm trying to get to a point where I can get a certain number of stars every show. And sometimes when I look up and I see who sent the most stars, I'll contact you and I might send you a t-shirt or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I see you supporting the platform. Okay. I think we're having a good conversation tonight. And I want to because Corey, I hear you. You're interviewing a good. Keep your questions, and they're good questions. But I want to get some more people in. Amir said something earlier I wanted to address. He said, "I feel like spontaneity and anticipation is a huge part of intimacy. I don't want to speak negatively of celibacy because it's a noble choice, but the declaration of celibacy kills those seeds of anticipation. Your intimacy and its limited. Your intimacy and its limits are literally predictable. Once our intimacy becomes predictable, interest is hard to maintain in honesty." What do you think about that?
Which person?
Angie, you?
Okay. First and foremost, I am absolutely in standing agreement as far as a spontaneous intimacy. Had those too. It's not to say that they're not fun. They are. But if fun is what you're looking for, have at it. It's plenty of people out there that want to have fun too. I've done that part of it for myself personally. The difference in the thing that I don't necessarily agree with as far as the statement is concerned is that whatever it takes away from because of a conversation or whatever your communication is. If my intimacy is the only thing that you communicate well with, then you are not for me, because I am more than a bedroom. I am more than just someone who can get it in a shower or have it in a car or behind a building, which I am willing to do for my future guy, because I do plan on bringing that freak out. She's going to have her fun. She's going to have her fun, but she's going to do it understanding that the fun is not just his to have, it's mine too. And I'm going to have mine out of it. And so if a person, again, if you are short term with your ability to stay in an attentive relationship with someone, if your term of attentiveness is only intimacy when it comes to being sexual with someone, then I would say to that person and any other person, don't get in a relationship, because you're not ready to bring to the table what a woman, and I'm speaking to those who know what it is that they want, you're not ready to bring that to the table. We will deal with whatever your things are in the very beginning because we want you. And because of the fact that we want you and we want to be able to have you, we will put all of the performances up there. But what I want to know is that the person that I am performing for can perform for me too. I mean, am I the only artist on the table, or do you have any art that you're bringing to the table other than your sex game? Because if that's the case, it's a lot of guys out there that can fuck too. So, I mean, why am I here if the only thing you can bring me is that? Then, hey, I'll come get that and then I'll go home and I'll have a conversation with someone that can hold a conversation with me and get me wetter and hotter than what you did when I gave you my shit. But if I just want a quickie, then I can do that. That's not an issue. The question is whether or not, what do you have beyond that? What can you do to help? You know, do you bring anything to the table that says, hey, you're trying to start your business, so build your business, or what else can you bring to the table to me other than whether or not you can get my pussy wet? I can get my pussy wet. I learned that. And I do it well. And so bring something else other than getting my pussy wet.
Wow.
You know, Miss Angela, I just love this conversation. It's so amazing. Because why it seems, and I'm not a man, but it seems as though it's so abnormal for someone to say that they are abstaining or practicing celibacy when a man hears it. Because a lot of times, a lot of women are at some point abstaining or practicing celibacy. But just like you just made that statement, sometimes we go against what we really want for the sake of keeping them around.
Yes.
And a lot of times there are men that I know that will go through their celibacy portions or times in their lives and they don't break down. And I think that for both men and women, if we can stick to our guns or what we really want for our lives instead of allowing somebody to come in and kind of prejudge us on what we're doing, kind of like when James put up the post and we get everybody gives what they say or their comments, their questions or concerns, if we stop allowing society or society to dictate how we really feel about what we really want to do, then I think a lot more people will be in a situation of, I don't know if it will be a 21-year journey for them, but it may be a journey of where they decide that, you know what, I don't want to do this. And I tell people that when I met my ex-husband, heck, I abstained from it until I felt like it was at a point to where this is what I want to do. He appreciates what he's about to get, instead of in times past, although I was in long-term relationships, I gave it up a little bit earlier than I would have liked to.
Mm-hmm.
Let's Cordy, are you watching the screen? Can you read what Sammy said?
I get what she is saying. That's why, as I have gotten older, I am more patient and observant and listen to women to really get to know what they are about. But to not have sex at all knowingly, even in the long term, I probably wouldn't entertain it.
And here's the thing, I think that sometimes, and yes, first and foremost, 21 years, say it, take it all in, feel however it is that you want to feel about it, because it's 21 years. Some people haven't been living 21 years. So the time frame is an individual thing. It is not there's no stamp on celibacy where you say, I'm going to be celibate. You got to go 10 years before you become VIP. I mean, the celibacy is a choice. And each person that makes that choice, I hope that they're making that choice based on their own growth, not based on an opinion of what somebody else thinks. Well, you should have grown by now, because I very well have grown by now, but the men haven't. And so since they haven't, why should I settle? I did that before. It got me absolutely nothing, including a long-term relationship. He did not have to go out of his way to make sure I was long-term because he knew he had me. But I'm still going out of my way to make sure I have him, and I really didn't. And not only did I not have him, I didn't have myself. This time around, I have me. And I love and appreciate everything that comes with me so much more than what I did when I was younger, because younger, you too busy trying to impress others. You don't see the value in impressing yourself with it. You too busy trying to make sure that you have friends that accept everything that you do. So you buy the sneakers, you buy the t-shirt, you wear the right kind of weave, you don't get the nappy kind of weave. So everything is about somebody else's approval of your appearance. My celibacy is my approval of me. It is not about whether or not a guy approves of how long it's been, because trust and believe, this is probably the tightest piece that he has had since 16 years old. He'll be happy when he get up in here, and so will I. But he'll be the right person that gets up in here. And until then, I continue to do what I'm doing, because I don't go without an orgasm. The 21 years is what it is. I have lived my life in between 21 years. I didn't just sit at home and say, dang, I ain't getting no dick today. I didn't do that. Not for 21 years. No, I lived my life, because my life was not just built on whether or not I was sexually active with someone. My life was built on who are you and what are you? And are you anything to yourself outside of what you present to other people? You're so busy trying to make sure that you can keep up with them that you hadn't even figured out you yet. And if that doesn't fit for me any longer, it's okay to grow and move on. And if you want to continue to be a person who has sex with people just because of the fact that you can get in that hole, well, then do what you want to do. That's your choice to make. Just understand that at some point in your life, that hole will mean nothing versus whether or not that person who's at home will get you out of jail, put money on the books, help you with whatever that crime is, whether or not they're going to be in a delivery room, whether or not they're going to be there to make sure that the bills can get paid, whether or not they're going to be there on the days when you just can't do it yourself, but they're there to lift you up and say, hey, I'm here for you, whether or not they'll be willing to just simply sit in silence and allow you to be whoever you are, and then hold and support that person so that when your next day come, you are a bigger and a better person. And in between all of that, sex had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
That's
good stuff.
Okay,
That's good.
is it time to pass the collection plate again? You know, we going to one of them churches where they pass the collection plate 4 times in the sermon.
Girl, you so stupid. Are you the usher?
I will. I will go
You
up to
said,
the front.
I love the fact you like to serve. Go ahead then, girl, with your serving self. With your serving self.
Absolutely.
With your
I
serving
agree. That
self.
is good stuff, but it's
We did.
sad that you know. I mean, okay, how can I say this nicely? In reality, some women they really waited. They start in their youth, like 15, 16 years old, and they wait until they're used up to start saying, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. How can we talk to them while they're younger so they can
There you go.
understand their value,
There you go.
Because I was
There you
somebody
go.
failed you somewhere that was raising you. I was always taught that,
Look at your phone,
don't
Angie.
let nobody ruin you. So you have to make sure your stuff is good. And so because of that, I was always in a relationship, not something casual,
Mm.
because I
Hey,
don't know
I
how to
sent you a message,
experience
Angie. Look at
just
your phone.
screwing somebody and not having a connection with them. So, I mean, this happens so often. A lot of women are like, oh, well, now I'm 35, I want to settle down.
Mm.
No, settle down while you're young and you're pure. And, I was 20 some years old with my husband before I gave up anything. But that's
Yeah.
how I was taught. I was taught that way. A
You
lot
just
of
took
women
it
are
off of
not
your
being
husband.
taught that way. And so they don't know their value. You can't wait until, well, you can do whatever you want to do, but you shouldn't wait until you're 31 years old to realize, hey, oh my goodness, I done went through all these guys. Now I'm not worth a damn.
I
So
got you.
let me
But you know
stop.
what,
Let me put
Corey?
a hold on this because I want somebody to know my value. Like it's a little
But
Yes.
bit too
even
late for
being in
that.
a
And then
relationship, Corey, you don't still know you. That doesn't mean that you know your value. You can be in a relationship and still don't know how valuable you are. So to say that
I agree
to
with
settle,
that. But we're
to
talking
say
about
to
sex
settle,
right now.
I get
What,
that. But what I'm saying, you made the statement that you settled down. A person said, well, you settled down early, or to settle down early. Settling down early in age doesn't mean that you have recognized that you are
absolutely.
valuable. It could be that you settle down for the sake of just having somebody. So we have to be careful in what narrative that we're giving or what we're pushing, because
Hmm.
we can have
That's
people out
good.
here just marrying for the sake of being married, or settling down for the sake of being settling down, because that's what we were taught to do. And everything that we were
Yeah, and
taught to
I'm
do
not saying
ain't
everybody
godly.
has to. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody has to settle down. What I'm saying is don't be a buffet and then try to say, hey, I
Hey,
don't want this no more because I know
let,
my value.
let me interject. And Cole, I feel you 100%. And it would be wonderful if everybody learned early, if we all came from the same, if we were all enculturated the same way, right? But it's sometimes it's not as important when you do it. It's more important
It's
that you
doing it.
do it. Yeah, at
Some
Absolutely.
some
people,
point.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
people need to hear this. These young
yeah,
women, they need to hear
yeah.
this
Exactly.
because
And so and
she's now 51 years old, almost
52.
52,
She's
No,
fifty
and
she's
two.
she's
52.
still,
She's
yeah, and
52.
she's like, okay, I'm still trying to find, the person that's going to value me. When had that happened early on, or she was taught something different and she lived her life differently, maybe she would have found that person. But
And
she had to wise up and think about this. It's our responsibility to teach younger adults, not to do this and to value yourself. That's our responsibility.
I think we're
But does
doing
it
that.
mean that because I'm sorry, James.
I can't see your face. If I saw your face, I would have knew you was getting ready to say something. I would have known. I would have known.
Y'all done
I'd
said
have
I
been
look
ready
like
for you.
Cleo.
I would have known. I would have known. But
I'm
so I
so
can't see your
sorry.
face, so I can't be ready for you.
It's
I told you
okay.
to bring. I told you to bring them girls on in here. Go and ask your question. What were you going to say? Go
I
ahead.
just does it mean that she wasn't taught, or a person isn't taught because they are out here being frivolous with their coochie, or is it a life choice? Because I know my mama taught me a whole lot of things, but I chose to do some of the things that I wanted to do because I wanted to do them.
I
So
would
And
be
and
honest.
there's
If
no one size fits all answer though.
you're
There
yeah,
is
right.
and
no
that's
I
what I
one
agree.
was
size.
I
gonna
listen
say.
though.
Every
There is
answer. Listen. Every answer is individual and unique. There
yep.
is everybody is looking for a panacea. A panacea means a cure-all. We're looking for a one-size-fits-all conversation. Corey, you're 100%. Like, for instance, when you say what you said, then Melinda said, I agree with Corey. Corey ain't really saying nothing different than what's called is saying. We're saying the same thing. We're just fighting, but what you call seamlessly brought everything together. Shanae, what's your name? I can't even see your name there. Shanae said, we all learn. Shanae Flanor, we all have different timelines. Whatever it was. And I would like to believe that at 52, that Angie ain't the same as she was at 31.
Oh, Angie's living her best life at 52.
She's not the same.
She has so much more value in herself that she won't accept anything that comes to her. That's what helps her say return to sender. Now, Ashley, Jimmy, like let's say Jimmy Hinton. Jimmy Hinton always talks about women control sex, women control the bear, women control the baby, women control all these types of things. And in a sense, they do. Because if Angie cannot get pregnant if she's practicing abstinence, can she? And if a man chooses to be in her world after she's established the rule and said that I'm not, and what my boy Sammy Smash just said a minute ago, he said, I respect you, but I ain't hanging around for that. But the dude who decides to hang around for it, he deserves, watch this, that prize. I'm not going to say who is the prize, but if he hangs around, he deserves that prize. And guess what? If Mark don't want to wait around, it don't make Mark a bad dude.
Nope.
It don't make Angie a bad person for holding out, selfish. All it makes is they're not compatible. Hell, that's all it is. Everybody ain't for everybody.
And you can find that out before you have sex with a person, whether or not the compatibility is beyond the bedroom. And that's my point. I want to be able, because like I said, the desire to be intimate with someone is absolutely there. I'm human. I remember what it was like to be touched. I remember what it was like to feel somebody next to me, to be able to lay in their arms and I had them to lay back in mine. I miss all of that. The only thing about it is, again, it comes with something that is sustainable. What is sustainable? And listen, I'm not saying that the person that I meet will have to be with me and I got a 6-month rule and da-da-da-da-da. No. If we click, if our brains are operating on the same level, if you have intimately penetrated my mental, I'm already hot for you physically because you've penetrated my mental. So if I decide after that mental penetration, let's hit that bedroom, boo, then let's hit that bedroom. I ain't saying that you got to come in and decide that you're going to pay half my rent, that you're going to pay, get on my lease. I'm not asking you to turn on my lights or anything else like that. I'm handling mine. I'm doing that. But what I am, it don't have to be a long term. It can be a short term. I will know it when I meet him, but he's not going to be the one to make that determination for me. I will.
Go ahead, Mark. Mark's trying to get in. He keeps raising his hand, and I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
I just want to know where you're shopping at. That's why I want to know, because
God ain't made him yet.
Because my thing is, I heard your reference base of when women get dressed up and these men, all they got to do is put a t-shirt on and a hat and pants halfway up. I don't know grown men like that. I don't hang around with grown men. I don't know where you're shopping at, if that's your experience. Also, you talk about but then when you go to the type of woman who's gonna put money on your books and stuff like that, I don't know where you're shopping at where these men need money on their books. So when I listen to you talk, I'm listening at what are you attracted to? It seemed like you at a discount store trying to get high price items.
Let me answer your question. I'm glad you presented it.
Because hoes put money on your books, right?
Look, first and foremost, I don't shop. Period. Not shopping for him, not looking for him, not going out for a hunt for him. When he comes, he comes. Just like I'm here, he's there. And so when we meet each other, that's that meeting place. I'm not walking out my door every day saying today is the day that I'm going to meet Mr. D. No, sir. I'm walking out my door every day to see what can I do to make sure my life continues to go on the way that it should, that I take care of the things that I need to as far as being a parent, that I take care of my bills. I go to my job, I bring it home, and then I might go other places. So there's not a destination point for a type of guy that I'm shopping for because I ain't shopping. That's the first thing. And the other thing about it is I can take a thug or I can take a CEO because I'm on both of them levels. So if we need to talk the neighborhood, I can talk that talk. If we need to talk the boardroom, I can talk that talk because I can make a man's business grow as well as have his back when he wherever it is that he's at to make sure he's still good because that's my man and that's my dude and that's what I choose to do for him. So there's no shopping cart and I'm not putting any items in my particular cart. When he comes around, my pussy will be wet. I will know it. I'll be mentally stimulated and we can get that thing going. Other than that, try to do what you do.
Well, that ain't happened in 21 years, though. That ain't happened in 21 years. Like,
you don't know that it hasn't happened in 21
you said,
years.
That's according to you. That's to you.
It's
that's
for
what
me
you said. You said you haven't. You say you've been celibate for 21 years. That means in 21 years.
By choice.
Okay, but you ain't met that guy.
Not because there's no man. Just like
that's not what I'm saying.
Hold on. Both of y'all can't talk at the same time.
No, but 9 times out of 10, and I can get his conversation, and I can get based on what he said. His very first comment. Let me know where his head was at from the very beginning, as far as what he got time for, and he ain't for that. So what I asked him to do is to just simply say where he's shopping. Because that's where he want to shop at. The ones that don't have that value and care about it. Shop in that store and I'll shop in mine.
I understand where you're coming from. I think, we have to realize that at 23 and keeping yourself, some guys will maybe wait. But at 45, 50, it's reality. Guys are like, nah. I ain't got time for that. We grown, So I think maybe that's where he was coming from.
Here's where I think that particular statement is a misjudgment against men, because that's not fair to say that there aren't men who are willing to wait on a woman who is.
I never said that. I said most of them will probably, it will be. You'll have a higher percentage that will wait because that person is still fresh, But as we get older, that percentage is going to come down a lot. I'm not saying no men will do that, but I think that's where he was coming from. Not that he's shopping at a place where it's all hoes or anything like that. I think that he was coming from a place of reality.
Mark talk about all of the women, the bad women.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. If you're talking about, if he stimulate me and then it can go down, it ain't went down in 21 years. In 21 years, you ain't found that man in 21 years. I'm saying, hey, where are you shopping at? Because if that was your expectation of how he presents himself, I know men in certain areas that present themselves quite well. I know men that are mentally stimulating. I'm asking where you're shopping. Because when you start talking about a man with sagging pants and you're 50-something years old, there shouldn't be where you're shopping. If you're talking about men...
It's not to say that I haven't met an intelligent one. Don't mean to cut you off. It's not to say that I haven't met an intelligent man that was stimulating. I have. He was married. Not finna do it. It's not to say that I haven't met a younger man.
Might have been your man, girl.
And he's stimulating or anything else like that. I did.
No, man,
he was into, as far as what he was into, he was into. It still comes down to two people. It's not about whether or not you can take my celibacy and say, just because I've been celibate 21 years that I can't get or I haven't gotten what it is that I want. That's not the truth. The truth of it is that I have chosen to continue my celibacy, though I have met some wonderful men. But at the same time, it's not just me that enters into my life. You entered into the life of my son. And as James said earlier, I have an autistic son. I have to be able to know whether or not it is just as fair, knowing what the requirements are to handle a disabled child or a disabled adult coming into my life, if it's fair for me to put on a man that I have an intimacy with or I have a relationship with, but my son does not, and ask him to conform his world to what I know autism brings to the table. And so my thought process is not just for me and my sexual satisfaction as much as it is for me to be considerate of my mate, the same way I would want my mate to be considerate of me. Don't bring me into no situation. I'm not going to bring you into one. If the timing is not right and I'm not able to bring you into the situation and have my son to get a relationship with you, then I accept the fact that the timing is not right. I'm not going to rush it because of the fact that you're here, just like I wouldn't ask you to rush it for me. It has to be right for everybody involved. And since I'm not a single woman, I'm a single mother. And since I'm a single mother whose son is still in her household, I'm going to make sure that my household is taken care of first before I worry about whether or not that wonderful man that I met that had a very intelligent conversation, drives whatever kind of car, anything else, and shopping in the right shopping market for him. Even that man has a right to come into a situation that's ready. And if my situation wasn't ready, why bring him in it? Just because I wanted to have sex with him? No.
Hold on. I want to say something. Hold on. Listen, I think this is my thing. I think some of us think that a mate validates us. And we operate like, Mark, for you to say you've been doing this for 21 years and evidently it ain't worked. Hell, a mate don't validate you. I think a mate might enhance you a little bit, you know what I mean? But I got to be a good me first. I got to be really satisfied.
Absolutely.
I'm really struggling, you know, and we talk in private, you know what I'm saying, about my dating process going forward and all this kind of stuff. But hell, I wouldn't even put myself in a position to be in anybody's life if that's her process, that's her process. Why would we even question or ostracize somebody's process who said that they didn't want to have sex for 21 years and wasn't going to do it until they got ready? If they chose not to do it, it is what it is. I mean, why is that challenged or said you must be shopping in the wrong? And in fact,
I tell you what.
Hold on. I was halfway through. The only thing I hate, and the only part about that is that the way it was supposed to be is when now, you know, I still hang on to that Bible thing. It used to be that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
Come on,
it was never on the woman to go shopping.
Come on now.
Yeah, the woman was never supposed to go shopping. We supposed to be going shopping for the woman. And so if she's purified herself to an extent, now I might be worried about endometrial. No, I'm not gonna say that part. I'm stupid. It does it gonna hurt? Is it gonna be too tight? Is it gonna be sore?
I have one question.
So very tight. It is.
Go ahead.
How old is your son? And how is it very tight if you pleasure yourself? But how old is your son?
My son will be 21 next month.
Okay, so your son changed you, correct?
First, autism didn't come, or at least the diagnosis and understanding that there was something going on with him.
It ain't the autism. It's you maturing after having that child. You had a baby. Yeah, that affected you in a way that made you mature and say, "Hey, hold on."
It's more to it than just laying there having fun. There's so much more that comes with it.
So that had an effect on you.
Mark, you want to respond to what I said, Mark. What were you going to say?
Yeah. And I don't take back what I said. If y'all hear me clearly.
I
know, good, James. That's what I'm saying. If I'm listening to her talk about these men that do not stimulate her mentally, all of the stuff, my analogy is, where are you shopping? Where are you meeting these people? Because I said shopping, you jump on the word shopping. I'm saying, like, where are you putting yourself where you meet these type of guys? I gave a reference to the way the men dress that she described. She talked about things putting men on their books. So my thing is, that's not at that age. That I'm like, why is that the criteria? That should be basic. You shouldn't be dating no man who's going to jail, doing things to put himself in a position to go to jail. You should be dating no grown man who's not dressing properly. Because I take pride in how I present myself, regardless of I'm in a relationship.
Breathe.
Oh man, I'm about to pass out here.
Breathe.
You need my ass. You need my ass.
I mean, but that's almost like saying
I'm gonna finish my sentence. Because this is the thing, I don't listen to her talk about these men and the caliber of men and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yo, I know too many men like what you're describing, so where are you stopping at? I'm not gonna let you put down these men like this. Only so many men.
I didn't put down anybody. I didn't put down anybody.
I don't have a man to stimulate
anybody, but I mean, saying it the correct way. It's not a put down. It is simply saying that wherever your intellectual position is, that's your intellectual position. If your intellect does not stimulate mine, it means that you and I are not compatible. That's simply it. I don't have to lower mine, and you ain't got to raise your bar. Our intellectual levels are where they are. And if I find someone that intellectually stimulates me as well as physically stimulates me, if the two of us want to do something, so we doing it. If I don't, I don't.
I
There is
just
no
said it
other
ain't happened in
script
21
to it.
years.
It don't matter. Okay, well then that's my one. How
Oh Lord, hold on, wait a minute. Angie, the time that
But
went.
I guess my question is this: why we get Miss Angie back
She
on?
back. She back. Let her finish.
Why is it, Mark, that that women, men, whomever it is, if that's her opinion about her status and what she's doing, or anybody for that matter, who are you to tell a person what it should be or what it shouldn't be? I mean, just like you get on here and you talk about the women that you like or don't like, or you know how the women are using you because you a 6-figure nigga or however it may go. How is it that
I
you
talk
getting
in
used
general.
up? What you say?
I talk in general from the mouths of men. That's what I do.
Well, here's what she's talking in general from her own perspective. So my thing is that what she is saying wasn't generally saying that all men are X, Y, and Z. She's talking about a specific one that she may have met. So how is it that you can tell a person what they have met?
She
Because
said
you
what she
saying that
meant,
She's
she
though.
can't
saying
tell,
she
she
hasn't.
can't.
She said if she met this type of person, it would go down. I'm saying, okay, it ain't happened in
Right.
21 years. So what?
She's not mentally stimulated because if she was, then it would have happened.
Exactly.
So
She said
again,
that if
where
she
is
met
she
the right,
going to meet
if
this?
And
you,
that's what I'm
She,
saying. Where are you shopping? That's what I'm
Where
saying.
you want
In
shopping at?
21
yeah,
years,
that's a
Where
valid
you
question.
shopping at, Mark? Because you can't. I
hey,
was
don't
looking
come
at
for
it.
me. Don't come for me.
I'm just saying,
I,
like.
don't come for me because I asked if you keep in 21 years you can't find this. Where are you shopping? That's a
calm
valid
She
down.
ain't
Hey,
question.
say
Mark,
she was
Mark,
trying to
calm down. You
find
talking
none.
loud as hell. Calm
Hey,
down, Mark.
that is a
In that
valid question.
microphone.
That's the beats, yo. That's the beats.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, that's
And
hey,
you
listen.
read.
Hey, I'm a mood ring.
No beat.
No,
These folks
listen.
over here texting me
That is
saying, tell him to calm down.
that is a legit question. If you in 21 years you have not found this, it's a legit question. Hey, somebody say, hey, where are you shopping? Where are you looking? What kind of men are you looking at? Where do you hang? That's because where she lives is a city with some of the most educated men, some of the most
Still 21.
forward thinking men.
That don't mean
Still
that they
21.
talking
Uh,
about shit.
Still 20 to
You
You know
1.
don't
what?
even like
I'm
where
sick
you
of it.
live.
I'm sick
Mark,
of it.
you don't
I
even
love
like
where I
where you
live.
live. You
I
don't
love
even
where I
like the
live.
women where you live. So how you think she
I do
may
love the
not like
women.
the men?
I do love the
Angie,
women.
you gone? You coming
No,
back?
no. You said that you trying to come to Arkansas and find your woman because women in
Hey,
Atlanta ain't shit. That's what
no,
you
because
said.
they overpriced here. It's better. You got better deals in
Well, let
Arkansas.
me just say this, y'all.
Boy, you
I
got
do
me.
have a question because
I'm
I'm a
done
little
talking to Mark.
confused. Um,
Confused.
because yeah, I'm confused. I'm so confused when it comes to this. I know we're human, we're sexual beings, and a lot of people do pleasure themselves. I've never been able to do that because I need mental stimulation.
I have.
So you have someone who's saying that she's celibate or whatever, and she stimulates herself sexually with you know objects or whatever. So is it really the mental stimulation that turns her on from a man? I'm confused.
So are you saying that if a woman stimulates herself, then she would prefer to have stimulation from something else? Is that what you're trying to say, girl?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But if it's
Ah.
intellect that stimulates you, then how are you able to? I need a man to pleasure me.
Yeah, we
How
would
are,
prefer a man to pleasure us, but hell,
You
I
gotta
got a
work out.
rose in my bed, and if I want to get a nut to go to sleep, that's what I'm gonna do.
yeah, I can't do that.
And what she was
I
saying
really need
was
the
that she
intellectual
can get a nut,
stimulation.
she can have an orgasm with herself. It's all in my play, and you don't have to have a man there to have an orgasm with yourself.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
that.
that
Yeah.
yeah.
And be careful. And be careful. Hold on. And also be careful with when we project as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like the thing is that what one person does, I don't have to understand what they do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're telling me, so I only have to guess. She came on and told her whole story about how she felt about everything she did, and
Yeah, and it was a
I,
very good
and
story,
I appreciate it.
but I
I ain't gonna
think
lie.
young adults need to hear it because she's at an age
Well,
where, I
well, guess
mean, for
what? If
me,
we
from my
guess what?
perspective,
Well,
okay,
the conversation happened. Well, guess what? The conversation happened tonight, and if everybody on this thread would share it, and hopefully, and you know 5 young people, and you get them to listen, because we had the conversation tonight, right? So now it's out
yeah.
there in the metaverse. It's out there in
James,
cyberspace. In
I
cyber,
do
yes,
not
ma'am.
mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry. But to say that all the it's young adults that need to hear this, it's not. It's older women that need
It's
to hear it as
everybody.
well.
It's a good conversation,
Because there
but I
are
understand
older
why Corey's saying it
women
though.
that, yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying it's older women that don't value themselves right now. And so they need to
It's
get
too
that
late for that,
particular part so
Ashley. I'm
they can
sorry, that's reality.
say it one more time.
It's too late for that, Ashley. I'm sorry, that's reality.
It is not too late for a
Never
person
too
to be
late.
saved.
It's
Will there
never
be
too late.
one? Open the doors of the church,
Yeah.
Girl,
James,
we
to
all
save the wicked.
saved.
James.
It's
This is
about
what
making a change.
this is what is not fair. If I came on this platform, I start talking about every woman I dated was a hoe. When people
Shit,
would
you
say,
do.
"Hold up, Ash, don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you."
You
So check this
did.
out.
They
I
gonna do
did
that,
not.
dog.
So check this out. If I do that, people have a right to say, "Well, Marcus, where are you dating? Where are you meeting these women? Where are you putting yourself at?" People have the right to ask me because that's all I encountered for 21 years. And if I come back and say, "Hey, where are you shopping at?" For everybody to get riled up because I asked, you're talking about you missing this intellectual stimulation, this emotional imbalance and everything else. And I'm saying for 21 years, you don't have that. I'm listening to you talk about being pants sagging, money on books. And if I come telling you, hey, I'm listening to you, I should have, most of this time period, I listen. And I come question based off the criteria that you put out. I don't think that's fair for you, Ash, to come back and jump on me about what I do when I'm asking them, hey, did you ask? I repeat it. I said, you said this. You said that. And then I asked him, hey, you come jumping down because you don't feel like I have a right to ask her about her method. I'm not
I
saying
don't, because if somebody you get on here all the time, Mark, and you talk about
I'm
the women
asking a
that's in Atlanta.
question. But I'm asking a question.
You get on here
Now,
all the
now you
time and
interrupting
you
her
talk
though, Mark.
about the
Just
women
told her.
in Atlanta, and you talk about how you run into these certain particular women. And I asked you this last week or the week before. Are you presenting yourself with money? Because if you're presenting yourself with money or the person that has money, then that's what you're going to attract. I got on your case because how is it that you can tell somebody how they should feel about their stuff? Like, you can't do that, dude.
I asked again, let me break this
We'll
down.
talk after the show.
I never said feelings. I
And
never
you was
said how they
calm. I
feel.
wanted you to calm down because you
But
was
this is
about
the
to
thing,
blow a
Ash.
gasket.
But Ash, what you saying? I never asked her how they feel. I didn't care about the feelings. I asked
Clearly.
what they're doing. But you're Corey, can you help me? Because she's
No.
misinterpreting. I'm not asking.
I listen well. I'm an active listener.
I'm
You're
listening.
listening to her. So, I just see it from a different perspective.
But
That's okay.
Not yours, Ashley. I'm sorry.
And that's
But I
fine.
don't.
It don't matter.
that's-
I'm not here for nobody to
But
I think you're
the
like
probably a
what I
little
say. We all
emotional
have
about
our
it,
own
but
opinions. But for somebody to jump down somebody's throat
That's
about
didn't
okay.
how
jump.
they feel,
It sounded like it. It
yeah,
sounded.
you was hyped up.
Hold on. Let me say this then.
y'all listening to his tone and not the questions he's asking.
Okay,
I
but the
guess.
tone,
Hey,
the
Court,
tone,
now you
Yeah,
tone.
it's
know that
just the
man turned
tone.
Hold
red.
on.
You
I
know
know
he
how to do it.
turned red.
I
He was
know how to
hyped
do it.
up.
I know how to do it. Hold on. I know how to do it. If I want to talk, I know how to do it. Here it is. The thing is, I'm listening to the tone because sometimes the tone will make you miss the whole message. He asked the question. It was a valid question, but it sounded almost like he was jumping down her throat because of her decision. That's why that's why I felt. And Mark is 6'3", 6'4" with a very stentorious voice. So sometimes it might come out that type of way, and somebody that don't know him might take it that way. I kind of took it that way. So I get it, but it's okay. We've moved past that now. We've moved past.
Yeah, I was just listening to his questions, not
Yeah.
necessarily his
Yeah, well,
tone.
but
I'm not getting offended by
I listen.
somebody's
They
I,
friends
tone.
tonight.
ain't
Y'all
nobody
friends
offended.
tonight.
I don't
Y'all
think
will
the
be
word is
arguing tomorrow.
I don't think the word is offended. The word to use is offended. But the thing is, but
What you using then?
I use whatever I want to use. Whatever I want to use.
Okay then, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna use whatever I want to use then.
Ash talking about last week. Last week he said, number one, I talk about what men. I talk about men, Ash. I talk about men. I mean,
I'm not talking to you no more, Mark.
hey,
I'm not talking to you no more.
let's start there.
I know what it sounded, Melinda. I hear you. This is the thing. Stop projecting. If I feel the same way I feel, Ashley feel the way she feel, Coy feel the way she feel, Mark feel the way we feel, and all our feelings are valid. I felt that way. Ashley felt that way. So if you don't feel that way, I'm sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, y'all
But
just a little bit too emotional. That's all.
man, too
Well, I'm
whatever.
asking James,
And you
who
so
feels
perfect.
anything?
And you so perfect. You got. I understand you got everything
I didn't
together.
say I'm
I'm on
perfect.
my
I
way.
just don't
James,
get as
Hey,
emotional.
if I live
James,
tomorrow, I'll
I'm
be
just
better
more
tomorrow than I was
logical. I'm a
today.
James,
more.
who feels anything?
Hey, and I'm 100% illogical. I know that. I'm slow. I'm illogical. I don't pick up stuff quick. All that kind of stuff. So I get it. I can make any. I get it. But I felt the way I felt, and I said what I said. And the thing is, how a person feels, it's their feeling. We ain't got to interrogate and beat everybody down behind the way they feel on when they come on the show. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story tonight.
Yeah, I do too.
I pray to God that somebody hears her story. Hey, 21 years, might not be able to go 21 days, but she's done her thing. It is what it is, and we moving on. It's 10:24. Show has been great tonight. I didn't get to everything I wanted to get through. I had a couple of more questions I was going to ask because I was going to ask her one specific question about because
I think she's having connection
Ashley, you asked the question earlier. Was it forced celibacy? And so and I put some other stuff out there to talk about it because you don't know, a person might have been she might have got sexually abused. I mean, who knows? A person, it could be a bunch of things that could lead to why a person starts to do what they start to do, and whatever, and on that road to self-discovery, whatever they find out about themselves, that's their personal testimony. It ain't got nothing to do with me. And I'm good with that. I'm 100% good with that. But I'm here to let them tell their stories, and I'm gonna facilitate it. I'm gonna ask questions as we go, but I ain't trying to interrogate nobody and all that kind of not like that. Y'all can. I mean, I'll let y'all do it to an extent, but that's good.
Yeah, I think Mark and I were basically saying the same thing. It's just that his tone. I don't think he was jumping down our throat. We were on the same page, you know.
Gotcha.
So
Ashley, you gone? Did Ashley leave out on us? All right, we're about to, like I said, we're about to get out of here. Listen, for those of you all who have not seen our shirt yet, please, ma'am, please, sir, go to my Etsy store and check out our shirt, On the Path to Better shirts. You can purchase them. I have them on. They're starting at $18.99 now, and that price does include shipping. $18.99, and like I said, that price does include shipping. You got to pay a little tax on top of that, but that shouldn't be too much. So if you would, please, ma'am, please, sir, support our platform by going to our Etsy store. I'll put it up again. Ashley, what were you going to say about the stars earlier?
I done lost my train of thought. So we thank you guys for joining us on tonight. As James mentioned earlier, the star indicator at the bottom, if you simply click on that, it will take you to a link to be able to purchase those stars. It'll give you the options for the amount and I lost my train of thought. Coy, you done gave me such a compliment, honey, and I can't even get it together. But listen, like I said, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the star indicator. If you click on it, it'll give you all the instructions that you need to do to be able to support the platform. Support it doesn't cost much. You probably got more money in your car underneath the seat than it costs for you to be able to donate those stars. So donate to the platform. We come here every Monday night and give you guys some good tea, good entertainment, good knowledge. And so, hey, support the platform so that we can take this thing higher. Also, James, go ahead and drop the Cash Apps, the Zelle, and the PayPals if you haven't already done so. If you want to support the ministry in that way, I say ministry, and I have to get that together. The platform, that way, all of those options are at the bottom. Or you can simply inbox James or the Intellectual Stew page, and we'll get that information to you as well. That's all. That's all, folks. James done cut his own self out.
Yeah, man, he hot. Hot.
We done ran the man off.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's you, Ash. You have to bring back stuff. I remember you said this a month ago, Marcus. Man, you don't go ahead with all that.
Mark, you know I love you, though.
I love you too. But hey, it is what it is.
You know I'm in between you and Coy.
hey, hold nothing back.
Oh, geez.
What's the EP?
You back, James? I know you you left us. You was tired of he gone again.
Yeah, man.
Praise the Lord.
Hey, this Shauna been coming for me, kind of. So it's a
Listen,
Shauna
do
for North.
you get threats in your inbox, Mark?
Man, nah.
I just want to let the people know that we really be having just a good time on here.
Mhm.
We just, speak the truth to each other. We don't be having no real beef. And we just allow people to have their opinions, but we do fuss at each other when we be on.
I get it, but Shauna, she after me. I seen her.
Shauna,
she said something about me.
Let me go and read it.
Somebody, I keep saying 21 years, but he's still out here crossing. So what's the what you mean crossing? Crossing. Now crossing. What you talking about?
That's the music. That means it's time for us to get off.
I guess so. I'm staying here.
You staying?
Shauna, you just tell me what you mean. I need to know that. Now I need to clear this up. But Shauna, you hear my inbox. You tell me what you think about me.
There he is. Are you back, James? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh,
James, we can see you.
Okay. So,
hey, look, I'm telling you like this.
Give him a chance to dismiss his own show.
Yeah, I'm about to say no. You
Oh,
right.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out of here, man. Y'all know when my not now, you know this about you can But listen, this conversation got a little heated tonight. Y'all done got on my nerves. I'm ready to get off the phone.
Don't pray some chicken.
I gotta pray. I gotta go. Y'all
Got good.
Honestly, my nerves.
James hot, boy. James hot.
Oh,
Go
Angie.
James.
Angie was a great interview.
I had to get out so I could throw my middle fingers up. I didn't want to show them up on the screen. So I had to
Hey, you said James came here to come and take me. He was like, yo.
Don't take your emotional pills, James. You'll be all right.
So I probably won't talk to y'all the rest of the week because I'm mad at everybody.
He mad. See
Put your pen got it on.
He mad at me. He like, you don't talk to my friend like that?
No.
I got to watch. I got to watch. They got me people out the windows now.
No.
Like that.
But listen,
Mark, he ain't gonna talk to your ass until Sunday evening. What the show gonna be about?
I'm going. No, I'm leaving for Arkansas tomorrow, so I probably won't be talking to nobody. So I'm not.
Oh, so I'm gonna see you?
Probably not, but I'm coming home. I gotta go to Fayetteville.
Some shit?
I'm going to Fayetteville.
Oh.
Pig Suey.
Huh?
Pig Suey.
I can't hear you.
Arkansas. I said Pig Suey. Arkansas Razorbacks.
Bro, they won against BYU the other day, so we did when we 0-3, or 3-3, whatever it is. But it's all good. Hey,
And I'm getting up out of here tomorrow.
Where you going?
I'm leaving Arkansas. I'm still in Arkansas.
Oh, are you? Okay, good.
Where you at, girl?
Girl, I'm in Little Rock.
That let you know how much she like you, Ashley.
I'm in my daddy's house.
That's okay.
That's how much she like you. She ain't told you
That's okay.
You know, I forgot. But I was here for my uncle's burial, so hey.
Okay. When you leave? Well, you say tomorrow.
I leave tomorrow. I've been here since Thursday. It's time to G.O.
Ain't that some SHIT? I could have took you out for a drink or something.
Hey.
I don't drink, baby. Are you listening to me?
You drink soda, drink, water. You eat.
I drink water.
Hey, Corey.
The world is changing. What you gonna say?
Hey, Corey. Did you say ain't nobody picking you up at this age? Did somebody say that? Did somebody say that?
The world is changing. Why do you remain the same? Good night.
Throw his back out. Gonna throw his back out.
Yeah, I missed it. Bye.
She said that whole time too. I said, how is you pleasuring yourself?
Bring her right out. She gone. Let me get that. Ask me and you. Where you go? Ask me and you would talk for a minute. I'm picking out their asses out for real. Talk about my lady got on my nerves though. For everything. Oh, they done got on my nerves today, boy. I promise you. But I love them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love them. Hey, see y'all next week. Bye.